Hi, and welcome to Run Tall with Tim, the YouTube channel that's dedicated to all runners everywhere. I'm Tim, and I upload new running videos each week. If you're new to the channel, I post new videos on both Wednesday and Saturday mornings, and that's at 5 a.m. Standard Eastern Time here in the US. I also like to post bonus videos once in a while. So if you like running shoe reviews and other videos related to running, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time that I upload new content. And if you want to save yourself a little time, I tried to make that easy for you. If you open the description, there you're going to see where I've created chapters. All you have to do is click on the timestamp for the part of the video that you want to watch, and it's going to take you right there. On today's episode, I'm taking a real close look at a shoe from Adidas. It's their Ultraboost 21. Now, this shoe has been really popular for Adidas over the years. It's a shoe that's been used by a lot of people as a lifestyle shoe, but it's also a shoe that's a serious running shoe as well. And Adidas, I think, has really doubled down with the 21st edition of this shoe. They've made a lot of changes to the upper as well as that Boost midsole material and the outsole. So we have a lot to talk about. Before we get to that, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in these shoes for you guys. That way you can take a look and see for yourself how that foam reacts when I strike the ground. You can check out the pronation in the heel and the stability and all that kind of good stuff. So let's check that out first. But then when we come back together, we're going to take a real close look at the Adidas Ultraboost 21. So I went just a little over 7 miles at about an 8:35 minute mile pace. The feels like temperature was minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be the equivalent of minus 20 degrees Celsius. And it wasn't anything like I was expecting that run to be. I thought by looking at that stack height, all of that power boost material that they have in that midsole, that it was going to be cloud-like. But that wasn't the experience I got at all. So I'm going to be excited to talk to you more about that when we get to the midsole section of the shoe. So let's just start with the cost. It cost $180 US. Now, that's the same as what they were charging or asking for last year. So at least there was no price increase. Although $180 is still a lot of money. They're heavy. You know, as a daily trainer, they come in on my scales for men's size 9, 12.1 ounces or 343 grams. So now let's zoom in and we'll take a look at the upper. They use a Primeknit material. Now this is made with what they call Primeblue. Now, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's considered to be a high-performance recycled material that's made in part with Parley Ocean plastics. So it's a recyclable material that they're using to build this Primeknit upper. Adidas says that 50% of the upper is a textile, and 75% of the textile is this Primeblue yarn. I think that's just fantastic, and I'm hoping that more shoe manufacturers come on board with using recycled material to build their products. I think we'd just be all better off if they did that. So you might be asking yourself, just how comfortable is that Primeknit material since it's made with recyclable plastics? It's very soft, it's very comfortable, it's thick, it has a bit of stretch to it. It's a bootie construction that always feels comfortable on foot. As we move our way around now to the midsection of the shoe, we can see that, they have this plastic lace enclosure there that's sewed right into that Primeknit material. And then as we move our way around to the heel counter of the shoe, we can see that they have a plastic clip around that heel as well. Now let's take a look at that lace enclosure. Now this system is made of some pretty thick, heavy-duty plastic, and you can see that it's sewed right into that Primeknit material. It has 4 eyelets on each side, so there isn't a place for a runner's knot. This is one area that I did have some concern. Now, if you're using this as a lifestyle shoe, I don't think there's going to be any issue at all. But as a runner, I try to get a good lockdown, cinched-in feeling across that midfoot, and you can see here where that Primeknit material is kind of folded in on itself, and I was a little concerned that that might cause some hot spots while I was out running. I didn't have that issue when I was out on that 7-mile run, but I think a lot more testing is going to need to be done for me to make that determination that it's not going to be an issue going forward in the future. So a little more testing, and I'll let you know what I find out later on down the road. Let's turn now and we'll take a look at the padding around the heel collar as well as on the tab. And you can see that they have a split padding system here. Now it starts just a little below the top of the heel collar. And with the heel tab, they got a nice Achilles heel flare. Now that creates a nice pocket for your heel to sit in. I didn't have any slippage with my heel either up or down or side to side. I felt very comfortable and secure when I was out running. Also, another great benefit of having that tall Achilles heel flare, you can grab a hold of that tab to help you get your shoes on. Just makes it a little bit easier, and I do appreciate that. Let's turn now and we'll take a look at the heel counter. Now the first thing you're going to notice is that big plastic heel clip that comes around almost all the way to the midsection of the shoe. And as I give it the pinch test, you can see that it has plenty of structure to provide some extra stability, especially for those of us who overpronate. I always appreciate that. Now let's just take a quick look at the sock liner or the insole. As I remove this from the shoe, you can see that, it's fairly thin, but I do appreciate being able to remove it. It's a little thing, but they get dirty, and sometimes you just want to be able to wash them, let them air dry, and put them back in your shoes so you're good to go to the next day. Or in some cases, you might want to just replace it, either with something that's going to give you a more customized fit or a little bit more comfort. So it's a little thing, but I always appreciate having the ability to be able to remove an insole. Now let's take a look at the midsole and all of that boost material they have here. Now, according to Adidas, they have 6% more boost capsules in this midsole material than they did in the previous year's version. And they have 30.5 millimeter stack height in the heel and a 20.5 millimeter stack height in the forefoot for a 10 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe. Now, in the heel, when you look at that, it appears as though that stack height is much taller than it really is. And that's because your heel is kind of nestled into that boost foam material midsole that they have. Now I'm a midfoot striker, and I felt like that boost material did help me get me through my gait cycle just a little bit quicker, help me to maintain a nice easygoing pace. Now I think that's really where this shoe is going to fit best for me, and that's going to be on those long, easy run efforts. Now, it's not a super soft shoe underfoot, so if you're thinking max cushion just because of the way that midsole material looks, I know at first glance it looks like it's going to be super soft, almost cloud-like, but that really wasn't the experience that I got. I would say, it has a much more responsive feel to it, especially when you get up on that midfoot to forefoot area. It feels like pretty much a traditional daily trainer might feel underfoot. Much different experience than I was expecting it to be. A lot more ground contact, much more responsive than I thought it was going to be. And again, that's just based on the looks of the shoe alone. You have all of that midsole material that looks like you have in the heel, and you expect it to be super soft, cloud-like. And instead, you get a much more propulsive, responsive ride, and something that I found to be really enjoyable. And in part, it's the technology that they also built into the shoe. So let's flip these over and we'll take a look at the outsole, and we'll take a look at some of that additional technology that they put in that helps give you that propulsive feeling forward. To help with that, Adidas has installed their linear energy push system. Now this is a torsion system. It looks like a wishbone on the outsole of the shoe, and you can see it here. Now it's a pretty stiff plastic, and it starts down here, it runs up this side, and then it runs up this side of the shoe, and that gives it an extra 15% of stiffness that helps you kind of pop forward as you move through your gait cycle. So it acts a lot like a carbon fiber plate might, or a nylon plate, something like that, just to help give you a little bit more energy on your toe off. And you do notice that. I appreciated it. Any kind of help I can get through my gait cycle to make it just a little bit easier, a little bit faster, that's always a good thing. So let's take a closer look at the rest of the outsole, and you can see that they have their Stretchweb Continental Rubber, and they have a 360-degree design. Now that Continental Rubber is both lightweight, but it also provides a fair amount of grip or stick to the road, and it works in all kinds of weather condition. And I'm sure you noticed in that run sequence that it was pretty snowy, and in some places it was a little bit icy. And compared to other shoes that I've been running in recently, these did a really good job of keeping me upright and making me feel safe and secure when I was out running. Also, as we look back at that heel up to that midfoot section, you'll notice that they have a groove there. And oftentimes shoe companies are putting that groove in as a dual purpose. One, to reduce a little bit of the weight of the shoe, but two, to provide somewhat of a trampoline effect to give you a little extra bounce or energy return through every foot strike that you have. Hey, I really enjoyed making this video for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give it a thumbs up. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.